Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to Marika Sila about Ditch, which is going to be available VOD January 18th and then on Blu-ray February 15th. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for your time.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
I mean, this film, there's so much going on in this movie. So I'm just curious from your perspective when you're, signed off for this project, you're going to go film it, you read the script a little bit. Can you even prepare yourself for this? Like, there's so much happening in this movie.
Yes, I mean, it was so much fun to film the entire thing. How do I prepare? I mean, I think I've prepared for it just the way that I normally do. But with this film, it was a little bit different. I kind of had to let go of my ego a little bit more and just release.
Yeah.
And so it was a good opportunity to be able to learn how to express myself to my full capabilities in many of the scenes on this. So it was just a good opportunity to flex my horror skills, which I've never acted in a horror movie before. So
you did like the Twilight Zone.
Yes.
Which is,
I don't know if I consider that horror though.
But I feel like your episode was kind of give me a little bit of chills, to be honest with you. So I feel like the psychological game always gets me. So I don't know, but some people might say that was like a horror project. But yeah, this one definitely is horror.
Yeah, I would say my character in the Twilight Zone was much more stoic than Melina in Ditched, and so it was more of a challenge, I would say, in different ways.
It's interesting too, because I'm curious from your perspective. You shoot this film, you go in, you do it, it's done, it's wrapped, and then you're kind of just playing kind of the waiting game, and then the 18th it's going to be out and everyone's going to be able to see it. Has it hit you that it's finally coming out and people are going to get a chance to see it?
It hit me when the trailer was like number 2 on iTunes most watched trailers.
Yep.
And I was like, what is happening? Like, wow, because this was filmed before COVID.
Yep.
And so it was great that we got to film before COVID, because we were in such a small enclosed space. It would be much more challenging now with COVID restrictions. But yeah, so it's kind of been like out of sight, out of mind for a couple years. And so for it to be releasing and then for the trailer to be number 2 on iTunes, I was like, what is happening? Like, is this real life? I literally messaged one of the producers, like, is this real life? Like, is this real? And he's like, yeah. So
it's pretty crazy too, because people have a chance to see the trailer, and I love it too, because the trailer becomes such a art on its own, right? Because you're trying to kind of squeeze in as much as you can in like 2-3 minutes, right? Like I can't give credit enough to the people who make trailers. It's just like the greatest thing.
I was like, they did such a good job. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, this trailer is awesome. I'm excited to see it, even though I've already seen it.
The whole film, though, Marika, has this kind of it looks like, I don't know what else to say, but it looks cool. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah. Like, I feel like it kind of has like a Stranger Things vibe.
Yes. 100%. Yeah, it's got that kind of vibe. The colors are used in a really kind of cool way as well. Seeing that trailer, though, did you go kind of like seeing, that it did so well on the charts, but like you looking at it, is it kind of weird, like going and filming it and then kind of seeing the footage? Like, what's that like for you as kind of an actor and a storyteller when you kind of look at footage?
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of actors don't even look at their
Exactly.
Don't even watch their movies and the work that they do. And I totally get why, because it is such a cringy feeling. Like, I am so hard on myself, and like, I'm usually laughing at myself, and my friends and family, they're like, why are you laughing? I'm like, because it's just so cringy. Like, I can't watch myself. And yeah, so it's quite the experience watching myself on camera.
Have you seen Ditched?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
And so it's just like anything that I've watched myself in, I'm like, oh gosh, like I would do it differently and this and that. But it's also just like so much fun to see, to read the script and then to see it being filmed and then to see it all come together is such a satisfying thing. It's like, yeah, it's really cool.
It's always like a prerequisite now that before, like when I'm doing an interview, I always ask someone, I'm like, have you seen your movie or have you seen your show?
Yeah.
Because you can't assume that anymore. Because like kind of what you said, one, people don't like looking at their stuff, but it's a crazy time right now. Some people don't like have the chance and they go and work and everything. I once did an interview and I asked someone, I was like, what'd you think about this? And in the interview, you know, they were like, oh, like I haven't seen it yet, so I can't really comment. I'm like, now I gotta always ask that because yeah, it's crazy. Marika Sila,
I've been in interviews like that too.
Yeah.
With, like with the Twilight Zone, they like there were people interviewing me, and they're like, "What did you think about this?" I'm like, "I haven't seen it yet. You've seen it?"
I mean, I will ask it during the interview, like I just did with Ditch, right? Because if you say no, there's still like a talking point that I could like
Yeah.
throw out afterwards.
Yeah, it's so hard to like not say spoilers either.
Oh, and you know, you do these interviews, like, you know, we do these interviews way in advance. And like I said, like I've seen Ditch and everything. It's not out yet. All these other TV shows and everything, you get them so in advance sometimes. You're doing these interviews like sometimes 2 months in advance, right? Because people are working and everything. And it's so hard because like you have to keep it.
It's so cool though that you get to see everything before it comes out.
It's pretty cool. It's fun for sure. And it's amazing. And it's amazing to speak to amazing storytellers like yourself. And that's my next question. I mean, Marika Sila is a storyteller. That's what you do. What excites you about storytelling, Marika?
I mean, storytelling that's such a good question because everything acting is storytelling.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because as an actor, it's so hard for actors sometimes to get out of their head and like not think about what they look like on camera. But I find for myself, like I'm continuously reminding myself that it's not about me, it's about the story. And like, how can we best tell the story moving forward? And so I think that storytelling in general is just so powerful. It has the potential to change people's lives.
Yeah.
It has the potential to motivate people, and it helps also spark compassion amongst people and amongst races too.
Yep.
I mean, everything is just so divided right now. I think that there's just so much power in storytelling.
And I feel like to add to that a little bit, stories that were not told are finally getting told. That should have been told. Like I think that's a big one as well.
Yeah, it's huge.
Which is pretty crazy as well. No, it's so good to see. I mean, for people that follow you on social media as well, besides a storyteller, you know, you post a lot of important things. You're also an advocate and you're also raising awareness about a lot of important issues that need to be spoken about. How important is that component as well? And the storytelling aspect and the advocacy aspect of it kind of come together. It's pretty interesting and pretty powerful. What do you think about all that?
Well, I love that question because it's really the reason that I am an actress.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to have a platform, and that's kind of how it started. Is I've wanted a platform where I can speak about important Indigenous rights issues and climate issues, and acting and being an actress has always been more so a vehicle for me to build that platform where I can speak about important issues. And so, yeah, it's just a really fun way that I'm able to build that platform and reach a wider audience.
100%. It is so interesting. It's crazy too, because, you know, you have a decent following and you post a lot of stuff frequently as much as you can. Does it kind of sometimes also of our feeds too? It's almost kind of like stressful sometimes because you have so many people that are just waiting for like the next posts and everything. And sometimes you're busy and you're working, like, you know what I mean by that? The content creation component of it.
Oh yeah, it's hard to like keep up with the comments and like continue that relationship with your followers, but also like try and provide them more content because it's like, um, it's like I want to be providing more value
Yeah.
for my audience in general, and educating and doing all that. So it's interesting because often it'll take like an hour just to reply to comments and to messages, and it's like, should I use that hour to do that or to create more footage?
Absolutely.
And so it's kind of like a dance of like trying to manage both.
Like Marika Sila, I said, Marika Sila is a storyteller, an advocate, is also a content creator. Like, you wear many hats, and it's impressive. It's amazing to see your career grown, and we're gonna keep the momentum going. It's gonna be better and better.
Hopefully it's just the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so great to see. And then also like the content creation component of it too. I find like, do you get used to kind of the ebbs and flows where like some things will be a hit, some things won't get as much traction? Like, that's also the strategic component of it as well, right? And like sometimes like you can go like 2 weeks with there like not much momentum, and then boom, it goes up a little bit. The ebbs and flows. Do you get used to that as well sometimes?
Well, I think that everybody's kind of aware of like how social media like hits that dopamine rush, right?
Yeah.
And so as a content creator, like same goes for us. Like we get dopamine rushes when our videos are doing well.
Yeah.
And so I found that like it's really important for me like not to rely on if my videos are doing well or not to feel good.
100%.
To rely more so like on myself and what I'm doing on a daily basis, making sure that my morning and evening routines are on point, and like putting more so my happiness in my hands versus like in the hands of the algorithm, for example.
That was very well said. No, it's so true. It is so interesting to think. I could talk like hours about that stuff because, my background is schools with marketing, communications too. I could talk forever. But before we wrap up, Ditched, January 18th, on video on demand. Then it's going to be out February 15th on Blu-ray. When people get the chance to see this film, Marika, what are you hoping they get out of it?
I'm hoping that they are able to connect with Melina, the character I play on Ditched. I hope that they are able to enjoy just an hour and I think 26 minutes outside of their life. And I just hope that they're able to immerse themselves in this and use it as a chance to just enjoy themselves and some good content.
Amazing. Marika, thank you so much for your time and chatting about Ditched on Popternative with me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity.
And also, very quickly, we know we talked about it. I mean, where can people follow you on social media to keep up to date with everything?
Yeah, so Instagram and TikTok. Instagram is just my name, Marika Sila. And on TikTok, That Warrior Princess.
Amazing. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popturn for previous episodes. Look out for Ditch starring Marika Sila, available January 18th. Until next time, this is Marika Sila and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.